Hello, everyone, and welcome to my No Bells and Whistles podcast. My name is Obi Grace Nika, also known as OGN, and you're listening to my podcast called Perspective with OGN. This is episode 1, and in this episode, I will be introducing you to the podcast, what I'll be talking about, and a little bit about myself. So, a little bit about myself. My name, as I mentioned before, is Obi Grace Necker, and hence the OGN. I am British born of African descent, specifically Nigeria, and I live in London with my 2 young boys, William and Brian. On occasion, I might mention them, but I'll try as much as possible not to do that. They're teenagers and don't like being talked about. So that means I'm a mother, but I'm also an author, a public speaker, a publisher, and I own my company called Obi Grace Publishing. So why did I create this podcast? Now, this podcast allows me an opportunity to be able to vent. Don't worry, I'm not going to be whining all through any of my podcasts. I'm going to make it a little bit light, but still be able to raise awareness while bringing joy and also empowering people through the topics that I bring into the podcast or I discuss in this podcast. So, why create a podcast where I can vent? Well, venting is natural. Everyone does it. It gives you the opportunity to be able to release the energy inside you so that you can gain perspective, listen to yourself while you're talking, and be able to move on. Because life is for living, not suffering. And when you keep things in, you end up suffering. And you don't benefit from that. The people around you do not benefit from that. And the society as a whole does not benefit from that. So I invite you to join me. But also, if you want to vent about something, feel free to email it to me and I will share it on my podcast. Life is full of wonder-filled moments, events that make you want to let go and shout, rant, scream, cry, celebrate. Perspective with OGN is just going to be a short series podcast where I'll be sharing my thoughts. These perspectives are based on available information provided by sources. So they're going to be on topics, daily life issues, everyday and extraordinary life events, life stories that you may find inspiring, enlightening, impacting, or entertaining. It's also going to include conversations that might occur to you or appear to you as being ridiculous, funny, or insightful. I'll cover headlines, social media posts, and so on, plus comments on people's responses to these daily issues, events, and social media posts. On occasion, I would invite guests to add to these discussions. The topics are inspired by things that I've heard or seen while I'm out and about, headlines in the press, things that I've heard on the radio or seen on TV, or trending social media updates. On occasion, I vent, like I mentioned before, sometimes with a bit of humor about things going on in my life, directly or indirectly. I might vent about life in general or issues affecting us today. Other times, I chat about sometimes, like I mentioned, the wonder-filled, weird, unusual, and crazy, hilarious, sometimes insightful social media posts and responses. So, I know that makes me a little bit nosy, but it doesn't matter. It's about life. Life is to enjoy. So, it might be that it could be your post that's been discussing this. I don't know. You just have to listen and find out. Before I continue, I'd like to say thank you to Amit for including me on this journey. invite me to join the list of the first ever creators on audio and to become a part of this growing community. And I also want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to start my audio creating journey on this platform. So having disclosed that I was among the first to be invited to join the creators on audio, you might start wondering why it has taken me so long to put out my first episode. And I guess I'm going to have to discuss that on episode 2. So you stay tuned and join me on episode 2 to find out more about this. Before I conclude, I would like to say thank you for listening and ask you to support me by commenting, liking, and sharing my audio. And I look forward to seeing you very soon in episode 2 of my podcast. Take care and stay blessed.